YouTube? Dawson Ryder here. Welcome to my review for BoonBoomger episode 32. In case you did not watch my Gab review, which should come out before this, and you're wondering why I'm wearing these weird glasses, you probably don't even care, but I feel like I should explain it. My other glasses broke, they're being fixed, so I'm wearing my at-home glasses that make me look like I'm a Riddler fan. Like I said in that video, a repeated joke, but I don't know. Who cares? Anyway, let's talk about this episode. It was the ToQger crossover. Now for this one, the only real negatives I have about it are, you know, I'm still not the biggest fan of the crossovers in the show, you know that. I think I've softened a little bit. I did enjoy the BoonBoomger one for what it was. I was looking forward to this one a little bit more just because I do have more of an attachment to ToQger. You know, that was a series that was rocky for me. I kind of stopped watching it for a while, and then when I came back and binged it to catch up and then watching the rest of the series, I really fell in love with it. And so I have kind of a soft spot for it. So I was kind of looking forward to it, especially since they were going to tie Genba and Akira's stories together, which kind of made sense. But I'm still I just wish they would keep it to the movies or side specials, and I should really get over this, but it just bothers me what a hot mess Toku's quote-unquote continuity is. It's like they have a version of Barry Allen constantly running around, so every other Tuesday they're in a shared world, and then the next week they're not. Before we dive into the ToQger stuff, just a small detail I'd written down that I liked is we do see them working on the champion power-up in the background, which is going to be jackets, and they're literally sewing them. I just like that when you can kind of see the progression in the background of something that's going to debut. They've done that a couple times. It just makes it feel less, I don't know, random, but less like, oh, here's a toy just randomly happening. I just kind of like that type of stuff. And also the fact that they're actually sewing it because it's such a practical power-up, I did kind of like. Now, there were aspects I did enjoy about this. Like, I'm not a total stick in the mud, only like a half stick in the mud. Like, I did like that they tied Akira and Genba's stories together. And I'm having mixed feelings on Genba's story because I do like that we're not immediately resolving it, but also a lot of his motivation feels one-note and nonsensical. I think it'd make more sense if, like, it was about him not wanting to drag them into darkness, like he's going into a dark place, but they're literally fighting the same guy, so it seems funny that, like, I don't want to drag him into my fight with this guy, and they're like, dude, we fought him last week. So that just seems weird, and it seems a little one-note, and now it's, like, dragged out. Like, again, I like that we did it in a way, and I like that we're not resolving it quickly like stuff with Sakito or any of the others, but it still feels a little silly the way he's presenting it. But that being said, I like the way that they tied it with Akira and him, like, also being a monster and going through this period of questioning himself and how his friends brought him out of it. I thought that was a nice, smart beat and, like, a reason to bring this character back. And I'm also glad they didn't resolve it. I was curious if they were going to resolve it in this episode because I feel like we're going to resolve it by the time we get the team power-up. And I wouldn't have been mad, because it would have thematically made sense, but in a way I'm also kind of glad we didn't, and it kind of gives Genba something to chew on. And then I also just feel better about a major plot point not resolving in a crossover episode for some reason. But I like the stuff they did with that. There was also other nice little details from, like, some of the sound effects. I think they used some of the background music that did make me a little bit nostalgic for ToQger. And then the final fight when Wright did show up, poet didn't know I rhymed those words, was a lot of fun to watch. It was cool to see both, like, in the mecha fight and in the the ground fight, some of that, like, BoonBoomger choreography. It was just fun to see. I liked that they showed off the color swap ability. It just generally was a good time. Also, it was funny that he kind of, like, hijacked the BoonBoomger's roll call. Just good stuff there. Also, I really like seeing, like, the actual physical ToQger robot up there, and getting to see Sakito in the cockpit was a lot of fun. It was overall, it was a good time. You know, I enjoyed it for what it was. I do wish that Wright had been in the episode more. If we were going to do this, it's probably a practical thing. It probably had something to do with the actor's availability or whatever. I'm sure there's somebody that knows the reasoning. But setting that aside for a second, I wish he just would have been in it more. Like, if we would have known, or, like, if we have to have these, make it worth the while. And I do think they did a good job of making it more than just bright colors standing next to each other. Like, we did get to see some character stuff with Akira, and I think the BoonBoomger one had a little bit more than just shallow stuff. But it would have been admittedly more fun to see, you know, Akira working with Sakito and Genba, and then maybe Wright working with the others on the problem of the week before. It was really nice to see that final shot of him saying something about imagination, and it's also just kind of extra special, I don't know if it's the right word, but just because he's now truly grown up. It's not like the projection or the aged up version of him from the series, because, you know, they went back to being kids at the end of ToQger, spoiler alert for a show that was a million years ago, but anyway. It's just kind of interesting to think about that. That's something you don't really think about a lot when you see other returning Sentai characters. Usually it's just, hey, they have team-up hair. But in this case, it's like, now he's literally grown up, and so I am glad we got to see him for that moment, but it really would have been nice to see him interact with the rest of the cast, because, like, that's my thing. The fights are fun, don't get me wrong, they're a fun time to watch, especially when they have like fights where they're cooperating and working together, maybe like swapping weapons or skills or something. But for me, even when I was younger, but especially when I've gotten older, the best thing about the team-ups is seeing the characters interact, whether it's like a funny interaction because you know these two might have a funny dynamic, or because their characters might line up, like Akira and Gemba is a good example, there was lots of parallels there. And I just rather see that stuff than the stupid fighting. So I'm a little disappointed by that. Like, if we have to have it, it would have been nice to have a little bit more to it. But overall, guys, I had a good time with this. You know, it wasn't my favorite thing, but I thought it was overall solid and enjoyable. Again, I still have mixed feelings about the weird way Sentai handles its universe overall, but I had a good time. And I'm glad that they did tie it into the main plot to, like, not stop the momentum in its tracks. Although last week we did do the Curry episode, so it's not like we're coming straight from a super plot-heavy episodes. I feel like both Go Busters and Gaim had their like weird shoehorned in Metal Hero crossovers right smack dab in the middle of like important stuff, unless I'm misremembering that. At least one of them did. So I'm glad that like it was well integrated and kind of will set up presumably the end of this Genba arc and then the champion stuff. But what did you guys think? Are you ToQger fans? Were you happy to see everyone back? Let me know in the comments as always. Until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps and ring that bell to get notifications for my videos. Dawson Ryder, signing out.